But for today, what we're gonna touch upon is squatting, whether it be with a barbell, with a kettlebell, front squat, low bar, high bar squat. Which squat is best for you is the topic of this video. So, like I say, like with a whole other different topics, it always depends. It depends on where you're at in your training, what your specific goal is, and then what you're also looking to accomplish in the gym. If you were just getting new to the gym, you never ever squatted before, I would suggest you squat the kettlebell, a goblet squat. So where you're in front rack position like this here, and you probably want to squat down to a bench. Squat down to a bench, helping you gauge your depth, and then coming back up like this, okay? This is really good because this is gonna teach you the movement pattern, all right? Squat is gonna feel different at first because you've never actually done it. The kettlebell is a good introductory step to it. The bench is helping us gauge our depth. It's also helping us hit the hinge, which is really important because a lot of people when they squat, what tends to happen is the knees break down first, then the butt starts to go down. That's wrong. It's called a lot of tension onto the knees. You may end up feeling it in your lower back too as well. So you wanna put the bench like a couple inches behind you, 6 to 8 inches. Hinge the hips back first, go down into your squat. Make sure your knees are tracking out towards your toes. They can go past your toes a little bit, and then driving back up, okay? So that's what I want you to start with first. Now, if you're a little bit more advanced, you've been in the gym for a couple years, or even a couple months, and this is now easy, you progress from, just a regular goblet squat to maybe a double front rack, and you're ready to say, okay, Jay, it's time for me to step my game up. I'm ready to get bigger and stronger. Now we're gonna move over to the barbell. Barbell back squat is gonna be the king of all movements, but I'm sure have you seen, whether it be on the internet or if you're into powerlifting, you've seen people having the bar a little bit lower in their back. You've seen people have the bar a little bit higher in their back. The difference in those positioning is a high bar squat, the bar is positioned like this, and then a low bar squat, the bar is positioned like this, okay? So these are fundamentally two different movements. While they're both still squats, the low bar is gonna mimic a deadlift, a conventional deadlift a little bit more, meaning it's gonna hit a little bit more of your glutes, a little bit more of your hamstrings, and you're gonna use a lot more of your hips. With the high bar, traditional high bar, where you see like 99.9% of people doing in gyms, that's gonna hit a lot more of your quads. You have to have a more upright torso when you're going down. So I'll show you the difference between the two, and tell me if you notice it, if you see what it actually looks like. First, high bar, okay? My foot stance is gonna be a little bit more parallel with my hips. You're gonna be pointing forward, false armor, so big breath. Pushing the belly out, brace. Okay, now if you see, look at my torso position, look at where my knees are tracking. Okay, that's high bar. Now, going to low bar. This is a little bit different, like I was saying. It's gonna mimic the conventional deadlift a little bit more, getting a little more of the posterior chain involved. So, setup's gonna be a little bit the same. Grinding that back. Top of my traps there, lifting up. Now if you see my foot stance is wider, feet are slightly externally rotated. Same thing, Valsalmer. Hinge, hips back, torso more forward. Okay. So you're probably asking, why, when? So like, why would I do a low bar squat? And when would I do it? So if your main goal is strength, if you want to get as strong as you possibly can, you're going to want to start to master low bar. Low bar is going to shorten the range of motion. You're going to get more muscle involved with the movement, which is always better because that means you're going to be able to move more weight. And you're probably saying, why is shortening the range of motion important? The bar just has to travel less distance. That's hugely important if you're trying to move maximum loads, okay? It also puts your body in a more advantageous to lift more weight, advantageous position to lift more weight, okay? Now, if you're looking for strictly hypertrophy, so your traditional bodybuilding, just want to build up your quads, want to get your quads nice and big, stick with high bar. Longer range of motion, do a little bit higher reps with it. It's going to target your quads much more, okay? So, all in all, if you're just new to the gym, again, start off with the goblet, okay? Then move up to a front rack, use a bench to gauge your depth. After you've been getting into it, a month go by, 2 months go by, you've mastered the movement pattern. It's A1 on you, look solid. Start off with a high bar when you get underneath the bar. Don't rush to put a whole lot of weight on the bar. Take your time. Master movement. I'm telling you, you want to hit depth first. You want to make sure your ankle mobility is good. All these things are really, really important because like, I used to do this movement at first for years, load up tons of weight, but my legs never grew because my range of motion was shit. And also, I wasn't doing the movement correctly. When I slowed it down, I took weight off the bar and I started to master it. That's when my legs started to grow. After that becomes very fluid for you. It's very autonomous. You can do it without thinking. then go over to low bar, and now let's start to build some strength, okay? So those are the squat patterns that you need to master, and this is your tip of the day.